Gilbert Deltrez here, creator of Under the Flesh, Lair, Pistoleta, and soon to be Galactic Rodents of Mayhem, successor of 6 crowdfunding campaigns, self published professional for over 5 years, and critically writing for over 15. Let's talk Cyberfrog. So, if you don't know what Cyberfrog is, it is a cause of some major controversy. And what's a good comic book without controversy, right? So Cyberfrog is done by Ethan Van Sciver, created, written, illustrated by a man who's been in the industry for over 20 years, I think 26 years. And he's left the industry. He's started doing his own thing. And Cyberfrog happens to be one of them. Now, when I say cause for controversy, there's been because he launched a Indiegogo campaign for this book, and he made a great deal of money. The demand was high, and now he's fulfilling the book. And there's always going to be people complaining because that's just how life goes. But I feel like some of the complaints here are kind of like cheap shots, because they talk about the printing, they talk about that it should have been more pages when it's a little bit less. I mean, let me tell you something. I had the pleasure of reading the book myself more than once. Okay, and this is definitely going to be a spoiler-free review because I know there's some people who still haven't read their book yet. But I want to say that I didn't know much about Cyberfrog. I know he came out, I think, in the 90s. It was he had a little run there. I wasn't familiar with that, and I probably would have enjoyed it. But I was into the Ninja Turtles. That was like the only thing I was glued on, and I felt like the premise of Cyberfrog. It's an anthropomorphic tale, and with this cybernetic frog, and if you just see the art style, it's on a god tier level because just the craft that's put out there, just the style, just the the pedigree that we're seeing with Ethan Van Sciver's work. Now, after looking at the book, holding it in my hand, and just seeing this ain't no rinky dink book that people are, well, not everyone, obviously, but just some of the nitpickers or the naysayers are trying to, throw down. And there's been some tweets on the Twitterverse about this, but it's an amazing book, right? And I'm just going to keep it very simple in regards to what it did for me. Okay, because I'm very particular with my comics. I mean, of course, we all grew up with Marvel and DC, but there's been a major disconnect with me as of late, and definitely because of this whole SJW agenda that's being forced down our throats through the awesome pages, through Marvel Comics and the big two. We're seeing this, this movement where doing it through comics and at the expense of storytelling, trying to throw this type of message, about these feminist messages, these are the feminist agenda, misogynistic, barbs and stuff that they're throwing in there. It's just, again, it's just like like the industry as a whole, like we need something fresh. Obviously, we need something that can show you that there's more than just this hammering this, agenda down, the tip of your nose. We're basically, I mean, the readers, comic book readers, they're worth more than that. They're smarter than that. Do you understand? And they could sniff out a gimmick. They can sniff out, trash storytelling. It's a sixth sense, right? So the deal with Cyberfrog, with Ethan Van Sciver and him battling this type of SJW movement, He was able to bring back Cyberfrog, and this is literally the first, you know, book that's out that's going to be. This is something monumental, because when you think about the landscape and you think about, you know, what's been done and how he was been able to bring this book to us as fans, it's something special in comics, right? And I, for one, you know, am excited. So again, I didn't know much about Cyberfrog going in. Okay, I'm just being totally honest. I didn't, but I knew Ethan was a powerhouse. Like, I knew that. You could just see from his work. So I got to say the story was well written. And again, I'm trying not to throw spoilers in there, but it has been, I mean, we are gonna be waiting for more. That's all I'm gonna say. I didn't know much about Cyberfrog going in, but now I want to know as much as I can. And I think that's just a mark of great storytelling, especially when you're talking about comic books. But what for me particularly moved me is the way that this comic was able to bring me to a place that I remember very well. And it hits the nostalgia well. It hits that moment for me when comics was fun and you were just getting into these new stories and you're getting into these adventures. And one thing I'll give to Ethan is that besides the art and Kyle Ritter's colors, that just goes without saying, it's a 1-2 combo. But the lettering work here is done by Somni. I'm not too familiar with their work, but the lettering here is something that probably won't be lauded as much, but it's definitely something special. So not only do you got an awesome story, not only you got the colors that are just ridiculous, the lettering job is extremely pushed out the. It's like just pushed out of the stratosphere right here. It's something unique where I wish I could, where I wish I could get this person's work, right? Or see more of it, because again, everything here within the book breathes. Okay, the story breathes through the artwork, right? Through the dialogue, and then the lettering also comes to life. So what we have here is something that it harkens back to the fun for me. We got a big plot. There's a epic master plot going on behind the scenes, something epic, grand scale, right? And it's a unique foe that we're seeing, and it's done in an interesting way. So I don't want to spoil that too much if you guys haven't read it, but it's well crafted as far as what's at stake. There's high stakes here. Cyberfrog, the way he comes to being, to existence, was done brilliantly for me. I didn't, like I said, I didn't know nothing going in. I just thought the idea is what makes it fun. Again, this is where we go back to where you come out with a good idea and it's well done. And I think Ethan did a great job of making Cyberfrog, like humanizing Cyberfrog in a way where we could connect and relate, even Salamandroid. And I have a thing with Salamandroid. He's this massive freaking thing. A salamander, obviously, mixed with cybernetics, but he's amazing. I love the way Ethan draws him. He's just massive. And he looks like, I mean, when I initially saw pictures, I thought he was the villain to Cyberfrog. But on the cover, it's a team up cover, and it's obviously they're on the same team. So that's it's cool. But there's a cool dynamic there, and Ethan teases that through some of the dialogue between them. But again, I don't want to spoil that. But what I do want to say is the artwork is incredible. You're getting something special. And my only complaint is that it is going to take a while to get fully, through the story, because when it's done, obviously, because this is not, I think it has like 3 parts, and it ends where you definitely want, it leaves a good cliffhanger. It just, you're like you almost want that next book right now. So that's going to be the only problem, is just waiting all this time for the next, for the next part. But I finished reading it the other day before bedtime, and when I did, I could not go to sleep just because it was something special. I'm like, okay, this is pretty cool. And what makes it even more special is you can interact with him via Twitter, and that makes it all the more special. The connection with the creator, that a lot of times there's been a disconnect in some ways with the mainstream and creators and audiences. So I think with Ethan and this book and how it's been received, it has been a lot of buzz. And I think the great thing about it is that we, have that connection through social media where we can, say things and show pictures of how we received the book, and we'll get a like and a retweet. I think it's cool. But honestly, I haven't felt this way about a comic in a long time. And I think EVS, I think he put together what I like to say is a magnum opus in how to make comics fun again with Cyberfrog Blood Honey. I think he did. And for the most part, for this first part, I definitely want to thank EVS for taking me on this jaw-dropping joyride, because definitely the art is a god tier level. The colors are just to match, and the lettering as well. It's definitely something special. It's professionally done, and it came with a few cool knickknacks. If you back the regular book, like a bookmark, a sticker, but some trading cards that were well packaged. So I'll wait a while till mostly everyone's read it, and I'll go a little bit deeper into what I enjoyed and to what I think worked. But I like, in a nutshell, it's building to be an epic story, and it was done very meticulously in how we see the connection between the characters, Cyberfrog, how we're able to empathize and connect with them and even humanize them. And that's what a great writer can do, to get you invested in the characters. And in this little, snippet, and this little, this part one, it all came together. So for those who backed this book, you're definitely in for a visual extravaganza as far as the artwork, and definitely a cool story. And it's definitely gonna hit home. It should bring you to that, that sphere of happiness that we all remember, and what we've been missing in comics. We wanted to feel, this goodness, and I think he brings it there. So all in all, I'm looking forward to the next Cyberfrog, and I'm definitely looking forward to whatever else Ethan brings out through his all caps comics brand. It's a great time for CG, and him spearheading it. We got a lot of good stuff. This is a good movement, guys. Again, so please like, subscribe, check out what I'm doing. I also have a book that if you do like Cyberfrog Blood Honey, you would definitely, without a shadow of a doubt, like the book I'm putting together in Galactic Rodents of Mayhem. It's also another anthropomorphic tale. And much like EVS, I definitely wanted to tap into what I remember being fun as a kid and in comics, pretty much. And, we're all big adults. We're all big kids, so I feel like, what he did in Cyberfrog is what I'm trying to do with Galactic Rodents. And this is the good thing about comics, is showing that we can bring these stories and have message behind it. Because don't kid yourself. There's a message in Cyberfrog, and he's fine tuning these the story with some good messages here, and that's what any good story does. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Enjoy Cyberfrog. Keep on doing what you got to do in the name of comic books. Till next time, guys. Later.